Okay, we're live. How's it going, everyone? This is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Book Theater, and my first live stream on the channel. So for those of you that have never seen me go live on this channel before, it's okay, pretty. We're live. Whoop, double check that. Make sure that works right there. Um, trying to also double check that the browser source on this is there. Oops. That is, there we go. That's better. Hey, what's up, Steve? How are you, man? Okay, so, damn it. Damn it. It was supposed to be a thing. All right. Let's see here. What's going on, guys? Thought we'd cover some movie news live today. I want to start doing live stuff on this channel more, so I figured this would be a lot more fun. Do you know Dewey? I know Dewey. For some reason, the chat box is not coming in as being black, which is what I wanted. So give me a hot second to fix that, because that's not what I wanted. All right, we're just gonna fix that there, because I want it to work. You son of a bitch. All right. So there's a way to get the chat to be on the black. And you do that by actually going over to YouTube Gaming and popping out the chat for YouTube Gaming, and then in OBS you can actually set up it goes as black. There we go. See, bam, just like that, fixed it. Right, I just fixed it right away. That's pretty crazy. So all right, so we can look at this here. So this is a test. This is an impromptu thing. Not so much impromptu. I've been working on it for the last couple days. The idea of it, so to speak, in terms of what I want to do. And I've realized that I haven't been putting a lot of time into this channel. I have a baby, for those of you who don't know. She's just turned 6 weeks old. So so going in between both my main channel and this channel becomes a bit of a pain in the ass. But I figured we would do something like this, go through some stories. It's like one non-Star Wars story, because that's what I want to talk about. And then also from this, there will be segments that will be segmented off and then re-uploaded as their own standalone videos. Now, the reason why I'm going to be doing that is simply because there is, when you do these kind of shows, you don't get a lot of growth, believe it or not. So some standalone stuff will bring in new people that will then watch the live show. The live show will eventually be on a schedule. My girlfriend goes back to work here in 2 weeks, and then I'll be a full-time stay-at-home dad. And when that happens, I'll be able to put things on a schedule. So let's take a look at the chat here. Just give everyone Chaos Sonic. This is early. It is early. I'm also not on the Monday Matt channel, so there's that. Did I block you from chatting on your main channel? I did, actually. Yeah. You know, because you were trying to stir up shit, so I didn't want you stirring up shit. You're trying to stir up shit, so I blocked you on that channel. Hey, what's going on, Colm? How are you? Thank you very much for watching the videos. Wham, baby, who are you, Jimmy Kimmel? Oh, God, no. No, I'm not. I'm just a fat dude who likes Star Wars and movies and shit. So, hey, Godless Monk, what's up, man? Let me make you a moderator, because you're a moderator on the other channel. So I will be adding moderators on here. There's all that. Why do I have a curtain in the back? Okay, so tomorrow this curtain will change. This curtain will change to be a mundane matte backdrop. This is more of a test. I just wanted to do something different than having my office back there, and ultimately, so yeah, I changed it up a little bit. I'm giving out wrenches for this channel too, Fry Guy. People that I recognize will end up getting in. Hey, what's up, Derek? I recognize you from the other channel. Let's make you a mod so you guys can... I have no problem giving out mods on this. Getting all fancy. It's, yeah, well, there's... I ordered, like I said, I ordered a mundane matte. I ordered a mundane matte backdrop. Actually, it's a shower curtain. This is a shower curtain, so there's that. But I ordered the shower curtain with a design. I have no idea how it's going to look. I feel like I gave them the best that I could give them in terms of resolution for the image. If it's horrible, then I'm out $70 and I'll be pissed. But we'll figure it out. So there's that. So So yeah, essentially, since we're getting more people in here, is there a wizard behind the curtain? No, the wizard is currently back in New Hampshire. So the idea here essentially is to talk movies, talk it live, go from there. We'll see. Again, I've got like 5 stories here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That are ultimately like one is Expendables and the rest are Star Wars. But I wanted to go through it over the course of the last couple of days. And if you find something else, you guys can always send me an email with all that jazz at, or if you find any interesting stories, mundanemat.com/submit is a good one. Let me actually just quickly post this out to everyone. Let me just be on the safe side there. So one of the cool things I love about YouTube is I can go and just get the link and then just immediately send it out to everyone. Because what I do is I do a combination of Hootsuite, which allows me to then bring in like every social media platform that I've got. So it allows for a nice putting that. Okay, so hold on. I know this is a tester show, so anything is gonna happen here. Come on in. All right. Attaching URL. Okay. Cool beans. Hey, what's up, Cool Modi? How are you? All right. Why didn't Luke have 2 shadows when he gazed at the 2 suns? Star Wars doesn't science. That's pretty good, man. That is pretty freaking solid. I'll give you credit there. Yeah, like that's pretty funny. All right. So let's just double check everything. I just want to make sure stuff's up and running and we're looking good. Okay, cool beans. So, hey, are you going to wait? You're going to wait for DVD to see the new Star Wars? Keith, I would say that if you're going to see the new Star Wars, go see it in theaters. Wait for like a discount theater if you got one near you or something. I do believe, even though the movie has its problems, there are elements of it that do look amazing on the big screen. Like this past weekend, my girlfriend's mom was supposed to come up from California to hang out with the baby for the weekend, and we were going to get the chance to go and see a movie in IMAX. So I've got some IMAX tickets that I've got to use, and that didn't happen. So I may have to just get Black Panther tickets and hold off until next month. So, oh yeah, shit, I did want to talk about that. Thank you for reminding me. There was another story that I did see pop up that I wanted to take a look at too. So we might go through quick stories, 6 stories or whatever, or even more depending. I figure about an hour of this should be pretty good. Again, just getting things situated. There we go. Okay. I know you guys are watching me do this live. I should probably not do it like that, but okay. All right. So you simply refuse to throw away your money. No Star Wars in theater for you. I understand, man. So there's a fair amount of people that don't like Star Wars, that don't like The Last Jedi, and I get that they don't like The Last Jedi. There's a lot of problems with it. Essentially, there's a lot of issues with the movie. I have gotten over my issues with the film in terms of seeding rage and hatred. And there's actually a story in here that I'll talk about as to why. So, all right, we've been up and running now for about 6 minutes. I want to give it a few more minutes to get some more people in in case they're running behind. So we'll just do a quick banter before we get going. Again, I'm also recording this, so if you have to jump out at any time and you want to come back later, the individual stories, at least a few of them, will be up on the channel as standalone videos that will just be segments. So that's going to be that. Take a look here. 50 Shades replaces Star Wars this weekend in IMAX. 50 Shades, that come out? 50 Shades doesn't come out for a few weeks, man. What are you talking about? It doesn't replace this weekend. Daniel, I think you're lying to me. Who in the right mind would watch 50 Shades of Grey in IMAX? All right, those movies are boring. Like, you can't even do things. They're just boring, you know? Do I hate Star Wars now? Oh, no, dude. Look, I got a Rogue One shirt on, man. You can't see it behind me because I've got the curtain up. But it's, I got my Millennium Falcon rug on the wall. I'm a Star Wars fan through and through. I've just learned to stop hating The Last Jedi. it will never, because hating it won't make me feel any better. You know, like hating it won't make me go, oh, I need to like, you know, whatever. I hate Star Wars, but so hey, what's up, Void? Oh yeah. Let me make you a moderator too. So 50 Shades of Grey is a bad franchise. It looks so bad. Dude, Derek, they are horrifically bad. My girlfriend is a big fan. Okay, so before we begin, I'll tell you guys this story because this is my own fault. I screwed myself when it came to 50 Shades of Grey. So back in 2012, I was getting ready to go to Comic-Con for the week, and I wanted to mess with my girlfriend before I left. And she was looking for a new book to read. And so she hates Twilight, right? She hates Twilight. So I recommended 50 Shades of Grey, thinking she would get a chapter or two into the book, hate it, and then never want to go to it or whatever. So she gets the audiobook, gets through the first couple of chapters, comes home from work that day, completely complains about it, just hates it, right? So I finally fill her in that the whole thing's a Twilight ripoff. I mean, like, legitimately, I tell her the whole story. So then I'm thinking, it's done, it's over with, and whatever. I go to fucking Comic-Con. And I get a call 2 days in, and she is sobbing. She's just crying her eyes out. Now, the last time I was at Comic-Con, I had also gotten a call from her crying because her bike was stolen. So I'm thinking like, oh no, something has happened. Something horrible has happened again. And I'm not in the city to be able to, you know, to comfort my girlfriend. No, it wasn't anything stolen. She had just finished the second 50 Shades book, and she was crying because in her mind, it was so good. And then at that point, I was like, oh no, what have I done? So I've had to watch the movies, and they're pretty horrifically bad. They're pretty horrifically bad. 50 Shades of Grey is the most boring porn ever. Yeah. It also incredibly inaccurate of the BDS scene. Yep. Oh, hey, what's up, Horror Punks? Yep, you are a moderator. There are definitely the SJW Star Wars hurts the franchise. It does hurt the franchise. It doesn't kill it, but it definitely hurts it. So there's definitely that. All right. So, oh yeah, we've been live for 12 minutes. Okay. So I think we're good right now in terms of people coming in, giving it the 10 minutes. I was looking at the wrong thing, which is fun with me. All right, we got 70 people watching. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby. I'm okay with that. All right, so let's jump into this here. Today is the 16th of January, 2018. As you can see on the screen right here, we will be talking about The Expendables. Now, this is a franchise, I'm not going to lie, I'm actually pretty happy with. I've always enjoyed The Expendables. I love the concept. I went and saw it opening weekend when it came out in 2010. I mean, this is a franchise that opened up against Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which should have been like the quintessential comic book movie of 2010 outside of Iron Man 2. And ultimately failed because Universal screened the movie so many times for free that people just didn't care. And I felt bad because it's a good movie, but even though it's been almost 8 years or 7.5 years, ultimately forgettable. Whereas The Expendables, you can sit there and think of the sequel, which of course this is a wallpaper for, and the third movie, which had its own problems. But I think a lot of it had to do, and I will honestly say, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the movie was pirated, was leaked out through its DVD. A DVD screener came out 2 or 3 weeks before the release of the third movie, therefore prompting a lot of negative response to it because it wasn't as good, and people just didn't go and see it when it came out. But then again, this is 2014, and Guardians of the Galaxy had just opened up a few weeks earlier, and that was still doing really well. So I think that it just came out at the wrong time. Expendables, well, predominantly in August release film, it probably should have come out maybe September when it was a little bit deader, or like early October, or maybe being pushed back to January. And as we've seen with movies like Split, you can come out in January, or Get Out even, this from this last year, can come out and do quite well. So the reason why I'm talking about Expendables today is because this popped up on Sylvester Stallone's Instagram page a couple days ago. And it just says, just when you thought it was safe to go outside, they're coming back, having a picture of Jason Statham and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and then it's the dude, the boxer guy, I can't remember his name right now, saying, "We are the shadows and the smoke we rise, we are the ghosts that hide in the night." Now, not only did this photo pop up a couple days, 4 days ago, getting fans stoked for the idea of a potential return to the Expendables franchise. But you've also got, he posted this picture too that says Barney will be back plus the crew and a couple of new members. Now that's one of the greatest assets of the Expendables franchise, is the constant rotation of characters. Go back to the first movie where you've got Jet Li over here pops up in the movie for a, you know, for the whole thing. He's in it pretty much for the whole movie. Then in the second movie, he's only in it for the very beginning, and then he ends up, you know, pretty much effing off on his whole other side adventure. Therefore, you know, kind of, you know, removing him from the cast and bringing in somebody else. And then you've got, you know, Chuck Norris showing up for that little bit. That was awesome in that movie. Whereas Chuck Norris and Bruce Willis did not reappear for Expendables 3. So, I mean, there's always this rotating cast of films, or these cast of characters that come in. And I'm definitely on board. Like, I love the fact that Gunner, Dolph Lundgren's character, was a bad guy in the first movie, but ends up coming back into the fold for the second, because I've always enjoyed Dolph Lundgren's character in the movie and everything else. But if you take a look here, you can see that to date, the Expendables franchise has earned more than $800 million worldwide with 3 movies to its name. However, the PG-13 Expendables 3 was a big step in the wrong direction, bringing in a series low $214.6 million. So it's very likely that Expendables 4 will return to its R-rated roots. It's unclear at the present time who is writing the script and, more importantly, who is going to direct. But if this latest post from Stallone's Instagram is to be believed, the movie is happening, and then you can check it out for yourself. So the thing is, you have a franchise of 3 movies that has grossed $800 million worldwide. Now, look, in terms of, let's say, comic book movies right now, you see that there are quite a few that have grossed that on their own. So these are lower budgeted movies, and they're ultimately lower budgeted movies. Go back and watch the first Expendables. All the blood is CG, right? But it was Stallone pulling from Rambo, which I gotta say, 2009's Rambo was pretty choice, in my opinion, pretty top notch. And him coming off of that and then doing this, I think is fantastic. So I don't know about you, but I am 100% on board for going back into the world, teaming up with Barney Ross and the Expendables, because I feel, for one, they have good camaraderie with each other. The movies they're dumb, campy, you know, rehashes of the 80s action scene, which to someone like me who grew up in the 80s, who watched these movies, is very happy that they're continuing going forward. And I want to see everyone come back. I'm hoping Bruce Willis pulls his head out of his ass and makes an appearance. I'm hoping Jackie Chan shows up. Now, I do believe Jackie Chan could be in it, simply because he just did that movie The Foreigner with Pierce Brosnan that came out a few months ago, and that just hit DVD. And that's the one that's kind of out of the typical norm for Jackie Chan. So he might be, you know, willing to explore some more different styles of films. And I'm pretty sure if they brought in Jackie Chan, they could definitely play up his old, you know, more like over-the-top comedic action flair, and I think that'd be really good too. So I'm definitely excited to see what they do with this. I hope we get more information soon. All right, so what do you guys think about this? Oh, Commando. Yeah, that's a great movie, man. Commando is did you know that? Did you know technically Die Hard at its roots is a sequel to Commando? The book Commando is based on had a sequel, and that sequel was originally optioned to be made. Schwarzenegger didn't do it, and they ended up retooling it, and they ended up making it Die Hard. If I recall correctly, I could be wrong, but I do think ultimately that's what's going on here. RoboCop, the X-rated edition, that is a great version of that film. I love that film. Jet Li, here's the thing, Nathan, I want more Jet Li as well, but you know, okay, so you got like 2009's Forbidden Kingdom, where Jet Li and Jackie Chan fought, and that was a good movie in my opinion. So I definitely want to see, you know, I want to see that brought back, but maybe a little bit more hardcore. All right. Oh no, Die Hard is based off a book. I think it was they're based on like they're on the same thing. RoboCop X-rated, James Carmichael, what that's generally referring to is the unrated Blu-ray of RoboCop that came out like around 10 years ago or so. That was before then. I want to say 06 or somewhere in there. It's essentially like the X-rated, fans call it the X-rated version of RoboCop because of the how violent and gory it is all the way through. So am I going to watch Black Lightning? I don't know, man. I don't know. Man in Orange, hold that thought till the end. We'll do some Q&A at the very end here. So let's jump into the next one here. All right, so what's this one? Okay, now we're going into Star Wars stuff here. All right, so with the release... Hold on, I got to do it. I got to do snaps for traps on this one. I'm recording this as it is. So I got to mark it. All right. Yeah, because this is how I do it. So... Okay. See, I so unused to doing this stuff live again. I just get caught up in the moment. All right. As Disney, damn it, I got to do it. Fuck me in the gut. Yeah. As Disney continues to push forward with the Star Wars franchise, as many have referred to it lately as SJW Star Wars, this is something that's not going to go away. You know, The Last Jedi, for all of its faults, has gone on to gross over $1 billion. It's not really showing... It's slowing down in the US. It kind of bombed in China, but it's still doing well, and it's going to continue doing well for a while. Solo's coming out in a few months, and people are curious where Disney plans on going next with the spin-off movies. One of the big things that's been talked about is Ewan McGregor reprising his role of Obi-Wan Kenobi in an Obi-Wan Kenobi film or a trilogy, something in there that's being looked at as more of an old Western. So people asked, well, Liam Neeson here, what does he think about it? Does he think that he would come back as Qui-Gon Jinn? Because at the end of episode 3, we learned that Qui-Gon Jinn essentially had also become a Force ghost, or at least was in the process of learning how to become a Force ghost before he passed away. Well, I don't know if I call it being passed away. He was kind of gutted by freaking Darth Maul. But the point is, Qui-Gon Jinn's spirit is somewhere floating out in the aether of the Force, and he may make a return. And basically, when talking to Yahoo Movies UK spoke with Liam Neeson about it, and this is what he says: "This is the first time I'm hearing about it. No one's been in touch with me. I know in the Star Wars world, anything is possible." Which isn't really much to go on, because he does say down here, it says, in the first one, The Phantom Menace, I died, but we know, Jedi's come back and stuff, but no one's been in touch, we'll see. And ultimately what this tells me is that the idea of, this hasn't really been brought up. I don't think Liam Neeson's at a point in his career anymore where he's like just trying to go for like the quick cash grab. He's made a lot of movies. He's done pretty well. I'd like to think that ultimately he's going to, do okay. But when I think about the idea here of Qui-Gon in an Obi-Wan movie, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really like down with it, right? Like I'm not like the Force Ghost of Obi-Wan with Anakin or with Obi-Wan with Luke and Star Wars. I thought was great. It really helped kind of like keep the story moving along. But what exactly is Obi-Wan going to do? Is he going to end up talking with Qui-Gon, and that's where he learned it from? I mean, ultimately, and then like that's going to be part of his training throughout the movies. Like, what's the arc of the character going to be, and if they're going to actually do it? So I don't quite know essentially what is going to happen here. I'm wondering if all of this, Ewan McGregor standalone Obi-Wan film stuff is just going to be, it's just a rumor. I think it might just be a rumor, which is unfortunate because I think fans want it. And I think Disney would be remiss to not do it, to not give us a good, solid standalone film. But jumping over here to some more stuff involving Star Wars and Backlash. This isn't one I really wanted to jump into because Kevin Smith weighing in on the backlash against The Last Jedi makes a lot of sense here. So we know that the movie's been divisive. We know that the movie has had a number of issues involving people really just not liking it. And then you have a lot of like journalists that are, well, I don't know if I call them journalists, but pundits, so to speak, that are coming out and absolutely just attacking anyone who didn't like the movie. And as a result of that, it's pushed a lot of fans to kind of fight each other over it, right? And that is something that is unfortunate because to me, Star Wars should be more about having fun with the franchise and loving what's going on with it versus trying to argue about it. And here we see Kevin Smith's thoughts. So when he weighed in on the backlash against the film, calling certain reactions to the film vitriolic, saying here some people it hit him in the wrong way, in a big way. I've seen it's not just people going like, oh, I didn't like that. When they don't like it, it's vitriolic, as if somebody fucked with their childhood. or fucked up their childhood. And I don't know if I'd go that far. I've read the comments that have come off the videos I've done about this. I've read the comments and I've talked with a lot of people about this who didn't like the movie. And no one's really saying unironically that they messed up the childhood. You know, no one is saying that unironically. And if you are saying it, then I really want to know what kind of childhood you had. But ultimately, when you look at something like this, it's not that they messed up my childhood. They messed with a couple characters that ultimately didn't need to be messed with. I mean, even the editor of the movie wasn't very happy with how Admiral Akbar went out. You know, and like no one is really happy with how Admiral Akbar went out. It was just this notion of what, like what, wait, why? Like what purpose did it serve to take him out? But then of course there's that line from Kylo Ren that says, you know, the past must die, kill it if you have to. And ultimately I feel that was the message that the movie was sending. This was maybe always meant to be a movie that was supposedly going to be this kind of divisive thing because it was meant to kind of destroy the old and usher in the new. But why would you do that in the middle film of a trilogy? It makes no sense, and I feel a lot of it's going to be retconned come episode 9. Now, and Kevin Smith here also says that he believes that promotional material for the film played a role in the backlash, saying, I think at the end of the day, audience expectation plays into the backlash. Like when you know, you're like, all right, the next movie is going to be all about Luke, and I've seen Luke in the trailer, and I know exactly who Luke Skywalker is, and now he looks like Obi-Wan, so he's going to be like this version of Obi-Wan, and then they give you a version of Luke that even Mark Hamill reportedly was like, I don't know if this is supposed to be Luke Skywalker, he's not the one I remember. And that is, I think, another part of that too. I think expectations played into it. Ultimately, expectations played into it quite a bit, and I don't know if it's my fault in terms of my reaction to the film in that regard, because I don't know. You know, my expectation of Luke Skywalker was one of a reclusive, you know, Jedi. He's gone off in search of trying to understand, you know, or maybe he's just gone off to run away from it, you know, and I'm kind of even okay with that ultimately, because we've seen from episode 3 that, you know, Obi-Wan and Yoda go off in hiding because they have to, otherwise they'll be hunted down, that sort of thing. And so we know that there's Snoke, we know that he wants Luke Skywalker, we know all of these things, but we never really find out why. Now, there is a line of dialogue in the movie that does say, Snoke says to Kylo that the darkness must rise for the light to meet it. Basically talking about the equals there, right? The fact that the balance. And so that is essentially implying that Rey and Kylo are each other's balance, and that ultimately Snoke and Luke are each other's balance. And so ultimately, with the death of Snoke, maybe Luke felt that somehow, and maybe Luke then realized that now that Snoke is dead, I can now let myself go because there's an imbalance in the Force. Kind of feels a little bit like, you know, like it feels like the reverse Highlander to me essentially. But ultimately, looking at the backlash to the movie, the way they handled Luke's character bothered me. The flying nun Superman Leia scene really bothered me. And other than that, it's just nitpicky things. I don't mind Admiral Holdo. I know people look at her like, you know, SJW commander or whatever. Or they want to, you know, say that the movie is anti-white or hates men, so to speak. And there's been a lot of content looking at it from that perspective. That kind of stuff to me never bothered me at all. Just the way they handled legacy characters. And this is really odd because Disney usually feels like they're down for legacy characters to remain. They know this is where money is. I mean, they know this is where the merchandising is. But then again, these aren't legacy characters that they created or that came from their purchase. This is stuff that was been around for 40 years, and they probably just wanted to, you know, out with the old and in with the new. And unfortunately, it got us where it got us. All right, so what's up with this? Wait, what happened? What the hell is a gypsy raid? Oh, I see. Okay. So, oh, okay. So we got a whole bunch of people coming in that are trying to raid a stream talking about movies. Yeah, because that's fun. Oh my God. All right. Well, so it's all good. This is why you have moderators and shit. Blame the gypsy. Oh, what did V say? What's going on with V? It doesn't even really matter. All right. We're doing good here. All right. So we'll just jump through these last couple stories. Let me just get a drink of water. Oh, okay. You're rating me, not the topic. I guess that's cool. Atari Leaf. I would do Star Trek Discovery stuff, but unfortunately, I haven't watched it. Why does V want to meet me on the Kumite? What I say to V? I don't speak Gypsy, so there's that. Anyway, let's jump into the next one here because I don't have time to deal with this nonsense. All right, let's see. Yeah, Beth, this is an early stream for me. This is all movie stuff today, so I'll be doing more movie stuff in the daytime and then the other content later on. So. Okay, whatever, man. All right, what's this next one here? Okay, so this is one I thought would be interesting to kind of talk about here because this is, again, Star Wars stuff. Looking over at one of the biggest things with Star Wars The Last Jedi was, of course, the revelation of who Rey's parents were. We all thought that they were going to be legacy characters, or at least in some way related to legacy characters, as was basically emphasized during the Maz Kanata scene in The Force Awakens. And as we learned from watching this movie, that did not happen. It was totally different how that whole thing went down. And it really bothered a lot of people. Again, this kind of leads into the whole backlash regarding the movie and what went down. But Rey's parents are definitely something that is going to basically be on the retcon board for episode 9. You can tell because even Rian Johnson has basically come out and said like they could change who the parents were. That Snoke was in fact lying to Kylo when he showed him that vision. But Rian Johnson wanted to chime in on this because obviously it's his movie and I'd like to get a bit more info into what he's thinking as a result, simply because you know, I think one of the biggest problems that this movie has faced ultimately, in my opinion, is that there's been a lack of communication from the creator to the audience in regards to the changes that were made. And ultimately, that's not something that is necessarily needed, I think, in most cases. However, one of the biggest problems The Last Jedi had was that it told you, it didn't show you, which is weird because it's this 2.5 hour long, multi-$100 million epic space opera sort of thing. So you figure they would be showing a lot, but they didn't. They just told you about it and expected you to take it as truth. I mean, they really invoked listen and believe, which is kind of sad when it comes to a movie, because movies shouldn't do that. You know, they should never do that, but they kind of did here quite a bit. And so when it comes to Rey's parentage, Rian Johnson says here, it was hinted at in episode 7 when Maz says the answers lay ahead, not behind. But it was something that was obviously still on Rey's mind and the audience's mind. It felt like a powerful thing that she was still holding on to, this notion of the past defining her. And I guess I was entirely looking at it from a perspective of, what would be the thing that would be the most difficult for her to hear? The easiest thing for her to hear would be, yes, you are so-and-so and so-and-so's daughter. Or, yes, here's where you fit into this, here's the answer. The tougher thing to hear is you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet. You're going to have to figure out what you're worth in this world yourself. Your place in the story is not going to be handed to you. You're going to have to find it. That to me was the most interesting and toughest thing for Rey. Which, look, to be fair, he's not wrong. he's not wrong in terms of a storytelling perspective, right? You want proper character development. You want a proper character to go through the trials and tribulations. But at the same time, when you deal with Star Wars, you're looking at this from a hero's journey perspective. That was Luke's story. It's ultimately been even Anakin's story, just more a tragedy than a hero's journey. And as a result of that, you figure that going into this next trilogy, it would continue the efforts, considering the fact that Star Wars is ultimately cyclical. We know this based upon how many things keep kind of repeating themselves over the course of time. But I get what Rian Johnson here is trying to say. He wants her journey to be something that is wholly unique to her, and I get that. And ultimately, we saw that too with Kylo Ren. We saw Kylo, and it's kind of the opposite storyline, if you will. Like Kylo's coming from he is the lineage of legacy characters. He is Ben, Solo. He is the son of Princess Leia Organa or General Organa or whatever you want to call her. He is the nephew of Luke Skywalker, the fabled last Jedi that stopped Darth Vader and the Emperor and ended the Empire's reign. This is a lot of weight on his shoulders. You could call him, I mean, to be fair, you could almost sit there and use the verbiage like he was being somewhat privileged. Like this was his life, and he wanted to be trained by his uncle, who thought he could then use him to maybe balance out the Force even more, and then restore order, so to speak. And it failed because Snoke was able to come in and touch upon the darkness that I do believe lays in everyone's soul. And that was one of the things that was exemplified in the movie, or it made an example of in the movie when Luke went to Kylo's tent or hut, whatever you want to call it, and that whole incident played out. Ultimately, it was touching upon the darkness that resides in every single person. And it's not always good versus evil. There's always shades of gray, which is kind of where I think Luke fell into the whole gray Jedi thing that ultimately ended up being a nothing burger, even though there were tons of theories as a result of this. And we saw tons of these theories pop up over the 2 years between episode 7 and episode 8, which is probably one of the reasons why people were super upset, because they in fact thought that she was going to be someone of legacy. And like I said, that was met with such negativity. That was met with a lot of hatred that ultimately, even though Rian Johnson did not want her journey to have that handed to her at that point in time, it's entirely possible that J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio will do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they decide that they want to go through and very much tackle that subject matter themselves. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they want to change it. But we have until 2019, December 2019, until we get to see it. So anything could happen until then. But if I'm being honest, I kind of want them to change it up. I know I shouldn't, as from being a writer and a person who likes good character development, I shouldn't want Rey to be legacy. I shouldn't want her to have something to do with that. But at the time, even when episode 4 came out in 1977, Luke himself was not a legacy character. He was brought into it. And hopefully we'll be able to get some answers that don't come across as being pandering and don't come across as being kind of shoehorned in for the sake of, I guess, character diversity is kind of what it feels like here. But jumping quickly over here to Star Wars, or jumping over here to Solo's story in the news, we've got this new tidbit just popped up today. Lucasfilm releases plot synopsis for Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now, this movie is arguably in a very bad place, in my opinion. Coming off of the backlash from The Last Jedi, coming off the backlash from everything involving Episode 7 to Rogue One to Last Jedi to now, there is a subsect of Star Wars fans that are very much not happy with the direction that Disney has been taking it. These people are very mad at Disney for destroying the EU and creating their own universe now. And as a result of this, the Solo movie, the second spinoff, is one that is going to run into some problems, in my opinion. We've seen this with the release date being Memorial Day weekend 2018, coming up just 4 weeks after Avengers Infinity War, which is going to be the biggest movie of the year, in my opinion. It's going to swallow the air out of everything around it. And then for some reason, 20th Century Fox decided to bump Deadpool from being the week after Star Wars to the week before Star Wars, before Solo, because they said that Star Wars movies tend to kind of dominate the first 2 weekends. And Deadpool comes out the weekend after. So I understand it from that perspective, but at the same time, I just want to put this out there, and I have mentioned this before, Deadpool is not a small movie. Deadpool was a $50 million budgeted film that went on to gross over $800 million worldwide. The sequel is probably more in demand, more hype for it than Solo. And we haven't even seen a trailer for Solo yet. I haven't even seen any really official screenshots of any of the characters in costumes. And the movie comes out in 5 months. And that to me says that there is a problem, that they're really holding off leaking a lot of info on it or releasing a lot of info on it until we're able to get closer to the release date. But they did release the plot synopsis, and I'm not going to lie, it's a weak press release. So it says, here's how the studio describes it. Board the Millennium Falcon and journey to a galaxy far, far away in Solo, a Star Wars story. An all-new adventure with the most beloved scoundrel in the galaxy. Through a series of daring escapades deep within a dark and dangerous criminal underworld, Han Solo meets his mighty future co-pilot Chewbacca and encounters the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian in a journey that will set the course for one of Star Wars saga's most unlikely heroes. But here's the thing, is he's a freaking hero, or he's not a hero until the end of A New Hope. You know, he's a scoundrel and a smuggler, like not necessarily a hero, more of a rogue. And as a result of this, like, you know, we know he doesn't become a hero till the end when he comes back and saves Luke's ass by clipping, you know, the edge of Darth Vader's TIE fighter, and going off from there. And I just find this to be kind of funny. So, okay, so board the Millennium Falcon and journey to a galaxy far, far away. All right, so it's an all-new adventure with the most beloved scoundrel in the galaxy. Now, this is where we get maybe an idea. Through a series of daring escapades deep within a dark and dangerous criminal underworld, Solo meets his mighty future co-pilot. Now, obviously, we know of the life debt, right? That's been a thing that's been established, unless they retcon it, which I'm not going to lie, they might retcon it. They might. I would, if they retcon it, I would not ultimately be surprised, because at this point in time, looking at the events of episode 8, Chewie is with Rey, and Chewie's kind of taking orders from Rey. Why would Chewie, for all intents and purposes, who essentially, like, at this point now has inherited the, you know, the Millennium Falcon, still hang around with some junk rat from Jakku? Honest question. Maybe this is a bit of a plot problem. So he meets Chewbacca through having to rescue him, clearly, and then also encounters the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian. And I'm assuming that this is probably them meeting each other for the first time. And of course, whatever happens for him to get the Millennium Falcon and do the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs. That is probably going to be the biggest thing of that. That's probably what's going to happen. Is whatever's going to be like the final thing. The Kessel Run's going to play into like probably like the last part of the movie. You know, it's probably going to be like the last shot of the movie is going to be the Kessel Run. We might see him fail the Kessel Run once beforehand or something, or have him do a kind of a moment where he looks off into the distance like, it's always been my dream to win the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs. I just don't have a ship fast enough to do it. And then, of course, you know, gambles for it or something. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here with this. But this summary, this plot synopsis, it's kind of lame. It is. It's kind of lame. I'm not too happy with it. But May 25th will be here faster than we know it. Again, 5 months away. I'm hearing rumors that we're going to get a trailer sometime very soon. I'm hearing like Super Bowl Sundays when we might be getting the first trailer, or some kind of teaser on Sunday Night Football. For some reason, Disney really, really, really likes to release trailers for these movies during sporting events. They do. They like to release during sporting events. And I'm like, that is not necessarily your target demographic. Your target demographic would be releasing this kind of stuff during, I don't know, like The Walking Dead or something. That's getting millions upon millions upon millions of people watching. But sports? I mean, it's a bold move, and it's worked out for them. So maybe I'm just in the wrong here. But hopefully we'll get a trailer for this movie soon enough, and then we can either then decide if it's good, or if it's crap, or if it's somewhere in between, just based upon what they're showing us while we wait for the full thing to come out. All right, I got to get a drink of water off that one. I got one more story to cover. So, the Solo movie could be good, but it's most likely just to mess up the characters we love. Yeah, probably. Am I excited for Black Panther? Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. I can't wait for Black Panther. I think it's going to be pretty good. Will Han Solo have a pointless shirtless scene? Like, yeah, I still don't understand the whole thing with Kylo Ren in there. I don't get that at all. So there's that. Oh my gosh, that's pretty funny. Okay, let me take a quick look at something here. I got one more, and then we'll wrap it up because I want to keep these things at close to. Oh, okay, so okay, we're good. Just checking one last thing real quick. All right. So it appears that the groups that appears that the groups that were kind of spamming have left. So all right. Well, I appreciate the mods doing their thing. If anyone else wants to be a mod, we can definitely do that. Do I retro game? I don't, Atari Leaf. I really don't. I mean, sometimes, depending on what mood I'm in or where I'm at. But I don't like rush out. Okay. Oh, there was a super chat that I saw that I wanted to quickly address before I forgot. So hold on here. Go back to the right one. Let's see. There's a lot of people that came in, so I know there was a super chat. All right, let me switch that over. But I will say though, as a test, I think it's going well. The camera is putting in some good imaging. I'm using my Canon 70D and everything else, so that works out pretty darn well. Okay. So, where is that at? I'm sorry, I'm trying to find. Okay, so Daniel J says, I heard Amazon might do their own version of YouTube. If so, could this make some competition and provide creators with more options? Well, yeah, I mean, if they do create an alternative to YouTube, it would be interesting if they did create an alternative to YouTube. So there's that. So anyway, that's more of a question for like, that's not necessarily movie related, which is what I'm trying to keep on topic here. So let's see here. Hey, what's going on? It's Frank. How are you? Let me just, yeah, Dan, you can be a mod. I know you from the other channel, so you're all good. Go to Kilroy and see me live in the ball pit. Yeah, I think Repsion and I are talking about doing a stream from the ball pit. So anyway, let's jump over to the last one here. All right, because this was talked about here, and I do want to bring it up. Daniel, yeah. Oh, Daniel, yeah, I need to make you a mod too. There you go. You're always around. Yeah, I need to, I have the other issues of Batman White Knight. I just haven't read it yet. I've also got Doomsday. I got to read and review. I'm probably going to move those reviews over here when I do them. So there's that. Oh, Tony. Yeah, you too, man. There we go. So, Lieutenant Dan, $2. Can you be a mod? Yeah, I just made you a mod. So you gave me the $2 and I already did it. Joke's on you. YouTube took 30%. Star Wars Episode 9. They ignored the previous one. Yeah, totally agree. Okay. All right. So let's just the snaps for traps here so I can mark it on the thing. Well, shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck me. Okay. As we edge closer to the end of 2018, even though it's the beginning of 2018, there's one movie that's going to pretty much be on every comic book fan's minds post-Avengers Infinity War, and that is going to be the Venom film. Sony's Spider-Man Marvel Cinematic Universe, or whatever you want to call it, the Sony Marvel Cinematic Universe, is going in weird ways that I still cannot fully understand or fathom until I see it. Amy Pascal is attempting to create an alternate universe parallel to the MCU in order to use these characters that they have without having to share it with Marvel, but still capitalizing on the deal that they've got. Kind of, right? They're gonna run parallel. They might reference some things that happen without there being a direct reference, kind of like how they did it in the Netflix Avengers series, where they mentioned the incident in New York. They mentioned they mentioned the big green guy, and even in Spider-Man: Homecoming, I do believe that there is a subtle reference to the Defenders, where they're talking about, like, you know, fighting people on the streets, and Tony Stark says, "Oh, we've got people who do that," you know. Or, you know, he says below his pay grade, we've got people who do that. And I've always felt that was a reference to the Defenders. And so seeing these things kind of ancillarily talk about each other is annoying, because you just want them to all kind of come together. And ultimately, I originally thought that Disney was getting ready to purchase back all of buy Sony Pictures. I really did. I thought they were going to buy Sony Pictures based upon all the money Sony was losing. And they went for Fox for a lot of money. So I got that one wrong, but I still feel like something is in the works in order to bring everything, to make it all whole, because everyone likes money, and making it all whole is the best way to get all the money. And it really is. Anyway, so it says here that the Venom movie is rumored to include Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So it says the movie is rumored to include a cameo from Tom Holland's Spider-Man after the Andrew Garfield starring Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed to launch a shared universe full of characters connected to Peter Parker. Sony made a deal with Marvel Studios to welcome Spider-Man into the MCU. Holland first debuted in Captain America: Civil War and then did Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, this is what's saying here. Okay, so basically, Christian Harloff, the head of development for Collider Video, tweeted, Collider Video host John Schnepp dropped the scoop on Collider Movie Talk that Holland's Spider-Man will in fact appear in Sony's Venom movie. The episode of Collider Movie Talk in which Schnepp says this has not been released. However, and even still, the revelation should be taken as a rumor with a grain of salt until further confirmation is provided. And now that is an interesting thing. John Schnepp, I like the guy. I don't know how connected he is, and I don't quite know how we got this information. But then again, people in Hollywood like to talk. They like to spread rumors around. They like this stuff to take place. And here's the deal. We need Spider-Man to be in Venom. You just need it. There's you know, I know that they've talked about what storybooks the Venom arc is going to be pulled from. But at the same time, you want to connect it to the larger MCU as a whole, and the conduit for that is going to be Spider-Man, because Tom Holland has the ability, as playing the character, to weave in and out of Marvel and back into Sony. They can do with it what they want. Even though Sony is not able, or well, I should say Sony is able to use certain characters from Marvel, but Marvel's not able to use any other characters from Sony. It's a weird deal, but ultimately everyone's like, no, Spider-Man is here. We good. We fine. We're okay with this. Now, it goes on to say that if Holland's Spider-Man does appear in Venom, it will be a major connection between Sony's offshoot superhero universe and the established MCU. Fans of Marvel Studios' expansive world would no doubt welcome the connection, as would provide viewers with a different look at the universe and lay the groundwork for Hardy's Venom and Holland's Spider-Man to one day team up or battle each other in a more official capacity. Further, it would mean that characters used in Sony's films like Venom, Silver Sable, and Black Cat could potentially appear in Marvel movies, though it still seems unlikely, and even more unlikely is the potential of any Marvel Studios characters beyond Spider-Man appearing in one of Sony's movies. And again, that's pretty much where we find ourselves. Here's the thing with that. Marvel has no reason to include Venom in any of the upcoming films. They don't. They have no reason whatsoever. And the reason why they don't is mostly because it doesn't fit into the mold that Kevin Feige has created. Kevin Feige, as the architect of the MCU, now almost 18 movies in, very much has this idea for where he wants to take things. He's plotting out the next 10 years. And we know that the Fox and Disney merger won't take place for another 2 years. So right around the end of 2019, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 doesn't come out until May of 2020. So would there be any characters from like Galactus or something making an appearance in Guardians? And the answer to that is no. Is Disney going to basically just kind of retcon all of the previous X-Men movies that we've seen in order to recast them and bring them into the MCU as a whole new characters in terms of the next phase. We don't know yet. But when it comes to Sony and it comes to these characters, Sony is not going to let go of them unless there's a good deal in it for Sony. And when it comes to financial situations, Sony has been hurting for a long time. They are literally banking on the Venom movie to do well, and Silver Sable and Black Cat, which apparently are going to start filming here pretty soon. They're banking on them to do well in order for them to stay afloat. And I feel if these movies tank, and I'm legit, I legitimately believe this, if Silver Sable, Black Cat, and Venom tank, then the likelihood of them offering up Spider-Man back to Marvel for a very hefty sum, maybe not 50+ billion, but like definitely up there, and like we're talking like the 4 or 5 billion range, then that seems more of a reality. So ultimately, my suggestion would be this: if you want Marvel Cinematic Universe to be considered whole and to go back and to kind of go back together, don't go watch Venom. Don't go watch Silver Sable and Black Cat. Don't watch any of the spin-off movies that are coming out of the Sony Cinematic Universe. Because we already know that with Amazing Spider-Man 2, they kind of tried and they kind of failed. Even though I enjoyed those movies immensely, they still failed to connect with the overall audience. And so them on their own, they can't plan nothing. But them, needing Marvel's help, would only be made better if nobody went to go see it, therefore forcing their hand to sell. Anyway, so that kind of wraps up this one here, at least for this stuff in the moment. Not a bad recording. Had a little bit of distraction there. But overall not bad. And I'll definitely get a couple of these things out in terms of standalone videos later on today and stuff. But ultimately, if you guys got any final questions, there's that. No, wait, hold on. What's the Daredevil mention what's the Daredevil mention in Infinity War? I missed that one. Sony is a kid that leeches success off of all of her kids on a project who basically did all the work. Yeah. Yep, that's very true. You want to support R-rated comic book movies, even though with what's going on. If you smell, yeah, no, I get it, man. I understand completely. You wanna support it. I want to support it too. I want more R-rated stuff. I want Venom to do well. I want all these characters to come back whole. My biggest fear of the Disney Fox merger, of course, is the whole situation involving the money, the fucking money, right? Sorry, not the money, the R-rated side of it. So the R-rated side of it's going to be crazy, and the R-rated side of it's going to be nuts, but it be where we be, so to speak, which is just kind of crazy. Okay, let me just bring this chat up here. Daredevil might be an Infinity War. Derek, I don't know, man. Right now, if you haven't seen The Defenders, I don't want to spoil it for you, but Daredevil's not doing too hot. So the New York Bulletin where Karen works. Oh, at what point did these Star Wars anthology films start to be a bit much? I'd say, Tony, if they start doing like 3 or 4 of them a year, unless they're telling us a really awesome storyline, like a long storyline that's going to take like a couple years to get to the conclusion of, like, if they start doing phases like Marvel is, which is what I do think they're trying to do, ultimately we're going to see a lot more. So I'm okay with that. What's up with the background? Hold on. No, it's Richard Slammer. I changed the background as a way to change the background because this is also like this is my office, but it also doubles as like my storage unit. And so there's a lot of crap in the background, and it's just a lot of crap in the background that I do feel is ultimately distracting. And so I ordered a mundane matte curtain to come in tomorrow, and that arrives tomorrow. So that should be up at some point pretty soon, I'm hoping. So if it's not completely garbage and everything else. Carnage would be cool to see in a Venom movie. Yeah, I think they're definitely aiming towards Carnage. That's for certain. So that was a scene from the comics where Daredevil noticed the change in sound of New York when Thanos killed half the universe. Well, I don't know if they're going to bring it in, if they're going to end up bringing it in that way or not. So, wait, the official reason they cut the EU for Star Wars was Chewbacca? What, because they killed off Chewbacca in the books? Fry Guy, I did talk about the New Mutants delay in the video about that the other day, but yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's see. Okay, that's what checking the recording. I recorded most of that, and I got to go back in and find all the parts where I didn't say anything. It's not a problem. I'll go through there. So let's see. All right, you're thinking Disney wants to be successful with Star Wars movies. They should stay away from George Lucas era before moving. Wait. They should stay away from George Lucas era movies years before, years after. Yeah. Okay, Rella Amini, you said look at Wojcicki's latest tweet. I'll take it out. I'll take a look. Oh, thank you. We're passionate about YouTube protecting our users, advisors, and creators, so we'll make some changes. Oh, good, thank you. This will be a video for today. Then I will make a video on this for the main channel. Good, I'm looking for content. Awesome sauce. So okay, I'm gonna wrap this up so I can get this work done and then get my other work done. Again, this was more of a tester. We had about 130 people. There were some trolls, obviously, that came in, but you know what, whatever. And so there's definitely hold on. Okay, so yeah, there's there's always stuff to talk about. So I will again, I will be establishing more of an actual streaming time for this, but this worked out really well. I got to go through 5. We'll get more of a better format as I'm experimenting. I do appreciate you guys checking it out and hanging out with me. Appreciate the moderators doing their job today. Good job on you guys. Appreciate that. And we will definitely be back soon with more content. So anyway, my name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3-Buck Theater. If you are new, subscribe. If not, it's cool. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.